Joining us now is CBS News legal analyst Jack Ford. Jack, good morning.
Good morning, Maggie.
The attorney for these two students are making 2 points. Number one, that they only viewed the video for a few seconds. Does that matter? That
technically doesn't matter. Time is not a specific element of these crimes. The statute in New Jersey has a couple different levels. The lowest level, fourth-degree crime, first being the highest, fourth being the lowest, says that it is a crime for somebody to observe, without another person's permission, them in a situation where they may engage in sexual conduct or may expose intimate parts. Classic illustration, you drill a hole in a wall into a bathroom or into a bedroom. Right? That right then and there, when you start looking, regardless of what happens in that room, you've committed a fourth-degree crime, the lowest. It goes up a notch if you actually capture some sort of image in any fashion, a photograph, a webcam, of somebody who actually is engaging now in sexual conduct or exposing intimate parts. That becomes a third-degree crime. So time really is not an element of any of these things.
And neither is then if they witness something sexual or not. Right?
That only has to do with the level.
The lawyers are making. So why are they being so deliberate in making that point?
The point that they're making has to do with the higher level crime, the third-degree crime, where you actually do capture an image of somebody being involved in sexual conduct.
So they're just trying to lessen the penalty.
Exactly. Knocks it down into the fourth degree if you're just observing, regardless of what happens, if you're in a place that you shouldn't be.
Okay, so what is the penalty for a fourth degree?
Well, the penalties are fourth degree, 18 months maximum in jail, third degree, 5 years maximum in jail. But the important thing is, if you're a first offender, and both of these two, as far as we know, are first offenders, there's a presumption in the law that says you're not going to go to jail. Some other type of structure for your sentencing. Now, it's just a presumption. It can be overwhelmed by certain circumstances if a sentencing judge, if they ever get to that stage, if a sentencing judge decides there's a reason to say, no, that deal is off and I am going to put you in jail for some period of time.
Is there anything you can see in this case that would lean the judge in that direction?
Well, a couple of things. One is, and this would be an interesting issue, the fact that you could argue, a prosecutor could argue that the death happened because of all of these things. That's a bit of a tenuous link, strictly legally speaking. I mean, I'm sure people are looking at this saying that this has to have driven this poor young man to commit suicide, take his own life. But legally, if they're not charged with his murder, a prosecutor might say, Judge, at the time of sentencing, you can take into consideration what happened to this man afterwards. It'd be an interesting legal issue, but it could allow a judge to say, you know what, bets are off in terms of a presumption of a non-custodial sentence here.
Right.
I'm sending it.
What if they add the hate crime to this? How does that ratchet things
That's
up?
a very interesting question here, Maggie. New Jersey has a provision where they talk about bias intimidation. And what it says is if you commit a particular crime, and here it would be one of these, for the purpose or because of somebody's sexual orientation, they can ratchet it up a notch above what it should be. And again, this could be an introduction. So a fourth degree becomes a third degree. Third degree becomes a second degree. And with a second degree, there is a presumption you go to jail. Could be a factor, if it happens, where a judge might say, again, deal is off here in terms of not going to jail. We are going to send you.
All right, Jack Ford. Thank you, Jack.